I've always looked at a job and thought, how can I do that better? You know, afterwards, if things went wrong during the day or whatever, I'd say to myself, we've got to be able to do that better, more efficiently. In recent years, I just haven't had the labour. These old yards used to work all right with 4 men, but the way things are in rural Australia now, it's not possible to run 4 men, even an operation like this. The other thing is the old yards were falling down, and we spent too much of our time and resources repairing old yards. So I thought, you know, if we've got to go again, we may as well do it properly. And that's where Thompson Longhorn came in nicely. They were prepared to run with my idea and develop the complex. Eventually, you know, we've come up with what you see here now. These little bulls out of the old holding yard. Come on, boys, come on. Come on. We can just throw this gate shut. I don't need to be there to shut it. Step up onto the catwalk, clean the boots, and away we go. Right, I'll just open the gate and let them up a pen. I can just throw that lever and then walk away. By the time I get to the other end of the cattle, the gate will be open. The race has been designed just to the right width, so I can... cattle have got room to turn around, but they haven't got room to get too far away from me. I walk past the lever, I just hit it like that, and keep going, the gate will close behind me.
Okay.
I'll do the same again here. I'll open this gate, walk away from it. By the time I'm around the other end of the cattle, the gate's open, ready to receive them.
On the walkway.
I've got to shut that gate like that. Everything's been designed here to cut out labour and to make what labour is used safe. Steps, handrails, non-slip grading on the catwalk. The catwalk has been designed exactly the right height for myself. This height suits me exactly, and I found out over years of handling cattle just exactly what height the catwalk needs to be for me to reach without falling off balance. This specially designed cattle rail seems to be working brilliant. Like, there's just no way cattle can be bruised with them. We prefer to run it straight past the post on a situation where there's no cattle on the outside of the race, such as we're looking at here. It's a big time and money saver in erection costs too, to go straight past the post like that. Well, there's not even 5 millimetres of post sticking out on that, like it's straight, as you can see, it's straight through. The cattle don't get agitated at all. They don't seem to worry you on the catwalk, about you on the catwalk. Now I can open that forcing pen from right back here anywhere. So I can save myself a lot of walking by having this gate remote controlled. I can also use that if cattle, if the last one hasn't stepped right up, I can just give it a couple of slaps on the behind. The beauty of the remote controlled forcing pen is that I can force a pen of cattle up from anywhere in the complex without having to actually be here. The idea of when you're on your own, you only got to think a little bit and you've sort of got cattle up to the job all the time. I can set that going now. Well, once I've got that much room, I've got room for another pen of cattle there, so I'd open the outside of the force and I'd bring in the next mob behind them. So I could keep these revolving gates going around and around and basically have cattle up to myself all the time. Move around into the race there. Probably one of the main features of this whole complex, and certainly the unique feature, is this adjustable curved race, working race. As you can see, for a start, it's got a good non-slip grip floor, catwalk, safety rail, there's plenty of width there for two men to pass each other. If you've got a second man available and you're doing two treatments, one can start at one end and one can start at the other, and there's no worries about getting in each other's road. What we do, we'll fill the race up with cattle. And then if cattle don't require the full width of the race, we can, just at the flick of this lever here, adjust that race to anywhere we want. They'll come into 18 inches, and it'll go out to 30 inches. Now I think we've already worked somewhere in the vicinity of 6,000 to 8,000 cattle through this race, and I think there's been one or two young weaners turn around, and that was my fault, not the cattle's fault. As you can see, the race is just the right, the catwalk's just the right height for me to lean over and needle the beast, and even smaller cattle I can get right down and reach their neck behind the ear where I should be needling them. With the covered inside, the cattle aren't able to climb up so easy, so that it's not necessary to have sides 7 feet high. Another feature is this anti-backing device. The cattle just push straight past it, and it springs in behind them. So you can have them all locked out, or one in and the rest out, or the whole lot in, whatever you require. This one here I usually keep in. Just holds 2 cattle between here and the weigh box. So when the weigh box gates are opening and closing, they can't back away, because they back onto that and that's as far as they can go. In other words, you've always got one or two waiting to feed into the weigh box. Because you aren't yelling at your mate to shut the gate or whatever, cattle feed a lot better. I can just sit back here as long as I'm doing nothing and just open and shut gates. Because I'm not moving or yelling or anything, the cattle will just feed into the weigh box one after the other.